I was participating in the Dapper Dan awards last night, and I got a phone call from Jim, and so that's usually how it happens. And so, you know, as far as the trade is concerned, we're thrilled to have Jason. We really think he's going to make us a better team. We think that he's a guy that has attributes that will fit into the style of play that we're trying to play. We believe he's a top 6 forward. We really like his speed, his overall two-way game, his ability to shoot the puck. You know, and so, you know, he's another one of those guys that we think we can use in a top 6 capacity to make us a better hockey team. So we're excited to add him to our group.
Mike, first, will Jason be available for the next game?
We believe he will. You know, he's scheduled to arrive this afternoon, so we believe he will be available.
And second, you speak to him being a top 6 forward. Have you figured out where from the line he might be on starting off? Yeah.
We'll more than likely start him with Sid and see where it goes from there. But you know, like I said, we think he's a guy that can play in our top 6. He's going to make us a stronger team. We really love his foot speed, his scoring ability, and he's got a good solid two-way game. So you know, we'll start him with Crosby, and we'll take each game as it comes, and we'll see where it goes.
Mike, after playing this pack of quality Eastern Conference teams that you have out of the break, did you evaluate where the club was at that point, and did you take stock of where you thought the team was as far as being an Eastern Conference contender, and what does Zucker's addition, does it help you get over the top in that context?
Well, we're always evaluating our group and trying to best understand where we are as a team and how we can improve, and whether it's internally or externally, in this case through a trade. So we have those conversations constantly with our coaching staff and Jim and his staff, and you know, and so, you know, part of that process is constantly asking the question, how do we get better? Because that's our ultimate objective every day, is to try to get better. Sometimes it's with the existing group that we have. In this instance, it's through a trade. So we're just trying to become the best team that we can become, that's going to give us the best chance to win. And I do think whenever we're talking about you know, adding players to the existing group, we always have the conversation around the style of play that we're trying to play, the identity of this team, and how a player can fit in and help us to play to that identity. And so when you look at you know, a player like Jason and the attributes that he brings, we believe that he can fit in and play to this identity. He brings a speed game. He brings an offensive dimension. He's got a defensive conscience as well. He's a versatile player. He's a competitive guy. So we think he has a lot of the attributes that we value in our players that are trying to help us become the team that we're trying to become, and be true to the identity of this group.
Mike up front.
Mike, some of us just talked to Michael Ruzioni across the street, and you guys are doing some 1980 stuff tonight. You were what, 12?
I was 12.
Now you come from a hockey area, maybe more so than most, but do you recall that impacting you at all? And
Sure.
do you still think much about it, especially on nights like tonight?
For sure I do. I think, you know, when you look at what that team accomplished at that time, you know, in its historical context, not just both inside of sports and outside of sports, I think that team inspired a nation, but in my own personal experience, they inspired a generation of hockey players, and I was one of those kids. So I was fortunate to grow up in a city that you know, where hockey was deeply rooted. You know, I think Bobby Orr had a huge impact on the Boston area and at that particular time as well. But what that Olympic team accomplished at that particular time inspired a generation of hockey players in the Boston area, you know, to want to play the game, excel, maybe play on an Olympic team someday, and experience what we had just witnessed as a young player at 12 years old. So, you know, that's a special group, what those guys were able to accomplish, and they certainly inspired me personally, but I think they inspired a whole country.
Mike, do you think your team has been a little bit inconsistent since Jake Gensel left the lineup, and a trade like this maybe is a big morale boost as well?
I don't think we've played with the consistency as of late that we have shown for most of this year. And that's something that we've talked about internally with our players in trying to get back to playing consistent hockey that has brought us success. And I do think, you know, the addition of Jason and adding him to our lineup will help us do that. He's a real good player. He's going to make us a stronger team. But certainly the players that we have, we believe are good players as well and are very capable guys. So, as I said, we're excited that Jason's going to become part of this group. We're excited about the group we have, but now we've got to go out and earn it each and every night, and we've got to make sure that we play to the identity that we've established this year for this team, and how we, and specifically how we have to play in order to give ourselves the best chance to win each and every night.
Mike, you know how you're gonna use Jason on special teams? I know he's done a lot of power play stuff, but I guess he's been even on the PK for a while lately in Minnesota.
We have some ideas on how we're gonna use them. We'll probably, you know, there'll be a little bit of a feeling out process, and how most specifically we're gonna use him, but we'll probably introduce those concepts slowly. But certainly he's a guy that we think we could use on one of our power plays for sure, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But obviously this is a guy that's a top 6 forward that has real good offensive instincts and an ability to score goals. We're going to try to put him in positions where he can play to his strengths.
Last one, Mike Sullivan.
Mike, I'm curious, how do you feel like this has improved the depth and quality of your top 6? And with that improved depth and quality, do you see any ways you might change the way you might use Jeremy McCann, for example, with his versatility?
Well, it just gives us one more player, I think, that gives us some options in moving people around Sid and Gino, that gives us an opportunity to have the strongest top 6 that we think we can put together. And so, you know, I do think, depending on, you know, the health of our group and who starts to come back into our lineup, it may provide an opportunity for us to utilize Jared McCann in different capacities. We have some ideas on what that might look like. But having said that, we're going to watch and see how the team plays, and we'll try to utilize the players accordingly, based on what we have and based on how the team is playing at the time.